Hey everyone, get ready for a journey that'll blow your mind. We're diving deep into the mysteries of time travel paradoxes. Can you imagine traveling to the past, seeing dinosaurs in real life, getting a glimpse of Julius Caesar's life, or even better, stopping your ex from breaking up with you over text? Sounds pretty cool, right? But what if I told you that time travel could lead to situations so bizarre they'd make your head spin? Warning! What you're about to see may cause dizziness, confusion, and a possible existential crisis. We are not responsible for any melted brains or alternate realities created by the misuse of this information. Are you still brave enough to challenge your mind and explore the limits of what's possible? Get ready for a mind-blowing journey through the 10 most unusual time paradoxes that will make you question everything you thought you knew about time and reality. Before we dive into the observer's dilemma, let's make a quick stop at one of the most intriguing and mind-boggling paradoxes of time travel. Yes, we're talking about the famous grandfather paradox. Imagine you have a time machine and you decide to travel to the past to meet your grandfather when he was young. But, in a dramatic turn of events, you accidentally cause his death before he even meets your grandmother. This brings us to a fundamental question. If your grandfather dies before your father is born, how is it possible for you to exist to travel back in time and cause his death? This paradox creates a time loop that has no apparent solution, since cause and effect are intertwined, defying all logic. In other words, if you were never born, you couldn't have traveled back in time to end your grandfather, which means he should still be alive, allowing your birth and subsequent time travel. This endless cycle is what makes the grandfather paradox one of the most fascinating and disturbing in the theory of time travel. But what does this mean for reality as we know it? Is it possible that there are multiple timelines or parallel universes where every decision leads to a new reality? Some scientists and theorists suggest that this could be an explanation, where each action creates a fork in time, allowing all possibilities to exist simultaneously in different universes. So, while you recover from this mind-bending riddle, get ready to explore more paradoxes and theories that will make your brain work. Let's dive into the observer's dilemma and other mind-blowing ideas that challenge our understanding of time. Let's make another stop at another fascinating dilemma of time travel. The observer's dilemma. Imagine you're an observer who travels to the past to witness a crucial historical event. Maybe you want to see the Wright brothers' first flight, or the moment when the apple fell on Newton's head. But here's an intriguing question. Could your mere presence in the past alter the course of history? Consider this. By being in the past, you might influence small details without realizing it. Maybe your shadow startles a bird, and as it flies away, it distracts someone important at that historical moment. Or maybe your mere existence in the past creates a ripple effect of subtle changes that amplify over time. This dilemma leads us to the famous question, is it possible to observe the past without changing it? This dilemma, known as the observer effect, reminds us that the act of observing can change what is being observed, an idea also found in quantum physics. But does this apply to time travel? Can we truly be mere spectators without leaving a trace? This is a mystery that continues to puzzle scientists and philosophers alike. And now, with our minds already warmed up, we're ready to delve into other brilliant ideas that challenge our understanding of time. Let's continue our journey through time with a stop in the fascinating world of the butterfly effect. Imagine that instead of eliminating your grandfather, you decide to do something seemingly harmless. Travel to the past and move a simple stone on a path. What could go wrong, right? Well, according to the butterfly effect, that small action could trigger a series of events that change the course of history in unpredictable and chaotic ways. This concept was popularized by meteorologist Edward Lorenz, who suggested that the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil could cause a tornado in Texas. Applied to time travel, it means that any small alteration in the past could have catastrophic consequences in the future. Imagine that you move that stone, and as a result, someone trips and falls. That person, instead of arriving on time for an important meeting, misses a business opportunity that, in turn, affects thousands of people, all because of a simple stone. The butterfly effect shows us how delicate the balance of time is and how even the smallest actions can have a monumental impact. It makes us wonder if it would ever be possible to travel through time without causing absolute chaos. Could we really control the impact of our actions in the past? Or are we destined to create a domino effect of unforeseen consequences? But don't worry, inquisitive minds, there are still more paradoxes and theories to explore. How far can chaos go? And is there any way to avoid it? Let's find out together. Exploring the paradox of energy conservation in time travel. In this episode, we are diving into the fascinating world of physics and how the paradox of energy conservation challenges our understanding of the universe. Imagine this: you travel to the past and change something important. According to the law of conservation of energy, the total energy in the universe must always stay the same. But what happens if your actions change this energy? Some scientists believe that the universe automatically adjusts to keep the energy constant. Others think that parallel universes are created where energy is conserved differently. What does this mean for how we understand time and reality? Is it possible that, at a fundamental level, the universe itself exists in a mixture of energy states? The paradox of energy conservation makes us question not only how we see time, but also the very nature of reality. Let's continue to uncover these mysteries and discover how these ideas connect with the paradoxes of time travel. Don't miss out, because what's coming next will blow your mind. Now, let's dive into a paradox that will make you question everything you thought you knew. This time, we're going to explore the famous Bootstrap Paradox. Imagine finding an old book with detailed instructions on how to build a time machine. Intrigued, you follow the instructions and, surprisingly, the machine works. You decide to travel back in time to meet the author of such a marvelous book. But upon arriving, you discover that the author never existed. In an unexpected turn of events, you realize that you are the ones who left the book in the past. Wait a minute, how is this even possible? Where did the book originally come from? This is the enigma of the bootstrap, an object or information that seems to have no origin. It simply exists. This type of paradox challenges our understanding of cause and effect, and the timeline itself. Think about the movie Terminator. Kyle Reese gives John Connor a photograph of Sarah Connor, which John later gives to Kyle Reese in the future. The photo seems to exist in a loop with no beginning or end. This is another example of the Bootstrap Paradox. These paradoxes not only make us reflect on the nature of time, but also on the possibility that certain events and objects exist without an apparent cause. Could it be that time is more flexible than we imagine? Or are we simply trapped in a cycle of cause and effect that we can't fully comprehend? The Bootstrap Paradox is one of the most fascinating and perplexing in the world of time travel. It makes us wonder if time is truly linear, or if there's something more at play than we can perceive. Could it be that time is a series of interconnected loops and cycles? Stick with us as we unravel more mysteries of time travel. Our next topic will be just as captivating, so don't miss out. Fasten your seatbelts, my fellow time travelers, because we're about to explore another paradox that will leave your head spinning. It's the paradox of predestination. This paradox is one of the most fascinating and puzzling in the world of time travel. It makes us question whether our actions are predetermined or if we have any control over our destiny. This time, imagine a scientist, a really crazy one, who has invented a time machine. This scientist isn't just any scientist. He's someone with a brilliant mind, but also a dangerous obsession with changing the past. Yes, time machines again. What an obsession. But there's a reason for this obsession. Our scientist has spent years perfecting this machine, hoping to correct a past mistake that has haunted him his entire life. This scientist has a childhood trauma, an event that has shaped his life in a way he can't fully understand. Let's say that one day, he was almost hit by an ice cream truck while chasing a red balloon. What a close call. This event, though seemingly trivial, left a lasting mark on his mind. So, he decides to travel back in time to prevent the accident and save himself from a life filled with fear of ice cream trucks. What a hero. But his mission isn't as simple as it seems. Time travel is a complicated and risky business. He arrives in the past, sees his younger self about to be hit by the truck, and realizes he has to act fast. Every second counts, and any mistake could have disastrous consequences. Bam! He pushes his younger self out of the way, saving his life. At that moment, he feels a mix of relief and euphoria. He has achieved what he set out to do: change his destiny. Way to go, crazy scientist. But this is where things get complicated. The paradox of predestination comes into play, and our scientist finds himself in an even more confusing situation. Wait a minute. Who was driving that truck? The answer to this question is what makes the paradox of predestination so intriguing and baffling. It was the scientist himself, but from the future. By trying to change his past, he has become part of the very event he was trying to avoid. This is the heart of the paradox of predestination. Our actions in the present might be the result of events that have already happened in the future. By traveling to the past and interfering, he unintentionally caused the accident he feared so much. Whoa! This paradox makes us question the nature of time and free will. Are we truly in control of our destiny, or are we trapped in an endless cycle of cause and effect? The answer, my fellow time travelers, is something each of us must discover for ourselves. Another time paradox that will blow your mind. Ready for the knowledge paradox? Let's see if you can wrap your head around this one. Imagine our main character, a librarian, a true book expert. One day, surprise, she finds a book that predicts the future. And it doesn't talk about horoscopes. No, it talks about important events. Our friend, who's as sharp as a tack, decides to use that information to change the world. And she succeeds. She prevents disasters and terrible things. And here comes the good part. How did that book come to exist if the future is no longer the same? Who wrote it? A time traveler with insomnia? It's as if the knowledge of the future existed before the future happened. Weird, right? Well, that's the knowledge paradox. A real headache for those who try to understand time. Is knowledge something fixed, or does it change with our actions? Let's find out in the next chapter. Don't go anywhere. And now, bright minds, get ready to twist your thinking caps with the language paradox. Imagine our time traveler, someone more curious than a cat with 9 lives. They decide to travel to the past, and on their adventure, they meet their ancestors. But here's the intriguing part. They teach them a modern language. Let's say they teach them present-day English, or even 21st century slang. Now ask yourselves, how did that language develop in the first place? If the ancestors learned the language from the time traveler, who really invented it? Was the traveler inspired by their ancestors' language, or were their ancestors inspired by the traveler? It's a never-ending loop. This paradox makes us question the origin of language and how influences across time can change our understanding of language evolution. Is language a linear creation or a blend of influences over time? A true linguistic puzzle. Stick around, because in the next scene, we'll continue with more paradoxes that will make your head spin. We're back with another paradox that'll blow your mind, the Duplication Paradox. Get ready for a mind-blowing trip. Imagine our favorite mad scientist, more excited than a kid with a new Tamagotchi, testing his latest invention, a teleporter. He steps into the machine, presses the button, zap, and he appears in another room. A complete success, right? Well, hold on, because there's a catch. Turns out in the next room there isn't one but 2 identical scientists. Dun dun dun! How is that possible? Did the machine clone the scientist? And if so, which one is the original? This is where things get really complicated. The duplication paradox makes us question identity. What makes us unique? If we create an exact copy of ourselves, are we still us? What a dilemma. Free will. Is it an illusion, or is it real? Do we control our destiny, or are we simply puppets of time? If we could travel to the past, would we change our decisions? Or would we be doomed to repeat the same mistakes, trapped in an endless loop? This is the paradox of free will, a puzzle that has troubled philosophers and scientists for centuries. If the future is already written, what is the point of making decisions? And if we can change the past, what happens to the present we know? Some believe that free will is an illusion, that our actions are determined by past events and physical laws that cannot be changed. Others argue that we have the freedom to choose, that the future is a blank canvas that we can paint with our decisions. But what would happen if we traveled to the past and changed the course of events? Would we create a new timeline? Or would we simply be fulfilling a destiny that was already laid out for us? The paradox of free will challenges us to question our perception of time, cause and effect, and the very nature of our existence. Are we truly free? Or are we trapped in a cosmic dance where every step is choreographed by forces beyond our understanding? And that's all for today's journey through the paradoxes of time, friends. I hope your heads haven't exploded from all this time travel craziness. We've seen everything from disappearing grandfathers to librarians with insider information. And there's still so much more to discover. So, if you ever come across a time machine, think twice before using it. You could create a paradox and really mess things up. Don't forget to like the video and leave your comments below. See you in the next video, friends.